I have managed to do what I wanted to do. So we need to start, and may I request someone to lead us in a word of prayer? Susan, could you lead us in a word of prayer? Susan?
Yes, let's pray. Loving Father, we want to thank you for this afternoon. We want to thank you for the gift of life. We want to thank you for this meeting that we are going to have. We pray, Lord, that you be in our midst as we discuss issues to do with the EMIS. Guide us and give us direction for the good of our ministry. In Jesus' mighty name I have prayed. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Susan. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome you to this session. We requested the Department of Education Planning to give us a session on EMIS so that we understand what is EMIS all about, and also be conversant to tell the head teachers what is expected of them. I'm happy that Vincent, who is the team lead of EMIS, is here. I don't know, Vincent, if you will be able to speak to us so that you greet the members and also give us a brief about EMIS.
Yeah, thank you, members. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Vincent.
Yeah, very good. I'm on my big PC. I'm not on the laptop. That's why the other functionalities are not visible. Yeah, members, I think this meeting is timely so that we are all on board as far as EMIS is concerned. We received actually, I just seen this communication today from the Commissioner Government Secondary informing us about this meeting to fast track registration of teachers on EMIS. But I think in the agenda that we received, I hope it is the same agenda. It talks of okay, the opening remarks by the two commissioners, government second and the private. Then the EMIS calendar, the discussion of rights, possible roles and the rights of members on the EMIS portal. And then the closing remarks and the prayer. But what I can say is that EMIS has got quite a number of modules, okay? The first module is about the basic statistics module, which we currently rolled out to all education institutions. And this module collects information on learners, teaching and non-teaching staff, instructional materials, facilities at school level. So basically the previous questionnaires, those of you who have been around, has been automated. The only difference is that now we are supposed to identify learners individually using their names for those who have. Those who don't have, you have to provide the guardian or parent's name, and we verify it with the NIRA. The same thing applies to teachers and non-teaching staff. Those ones are expected to provide their names. And for government teachers, on the payroll, if you were a trained teacher, you are supposed to have that EMIS registration. I must say we received a communication telling us that, and we have also heard it, that we have many teachers in our schools, secondary schools, who are on the payroll, but they don't have that registration number from TIMIS. So most of them are not registering. So that request came. Once we get clearance from the PS, we should be able to relax that condition of having all teachers to provide the teacher registration number. Now, apart from that, members, there are core functions that your directorate is supposed to undertake. One, we have the licensing and registration module. That one is really your function. I think we have done so far 60%. We have been working with the Madam Mutende. We have been working with the and our the name was gone out. Mutumba, Madam Mutumba. So that team, we have been working on the licensing and registration. Last week, we had a meeting with our team, the developers, and they said they have put together all the issues that were raised. And they want a final walkthrough so that the module is rolled out. So the rollout of the licensing and registration module should really be in your hands there, okay? We will give some support, but you should be able to take charge of that module. So Madam Mutend and team, we just need the confirmation when you can avail your team so that this module is signed off and we start to roll it out. And remember, Mr. Dung, when PS was communicating to the ASHU team, he said that that module is ready and will soon be rolled out. So the ball is in your court so that we finish that. Secondly, we have the HR module, human resource module, okay? Now, this module, we have been largely working with the HR team and the Ministry of Public Service. And we did agree in the last engagement that the two systems, the HCM, which has all government employees, will be integrated with the EMIS, okay? And that the transfer of teachers, secondary teachers, and deployment, once the systems are integrated, will be done on EMIS. So there is some work that was done, but something we need to fast track. Between now, secondary government should be able to join with the HR team so that we conclude that module and you start to use it, all right? So again, as far as the planning is concerned, we'll just give some support together with the developers, but the real actualization of this system, that module will 100% depend on those two departments, the government secondary and then the human resource department. So those are two core modules that are 100% with you. Then the rest of the modules, of course, like M&E that handles projects, again, we'll be working with your team. We have the M&E team here. Once that one is finalized, it's not yet finalized. we should be able to work with you, because most of the projects are in your departments, like USIP, like UGIFT, and so on. So we will have to work a way around and see how these can be handled between the two teams. The other, and what we need to know, what is happening currently, what we have rolled out is the basic statistics module. And we are trying to collect the initial baseline information, okay? So this baseline information is spanning 2 academic years, because we started last year in September, and by end of that year we had not covered all schools. We had about only 9.8 million learners put on the system. But we want, when we opened, there are other functionalities which were triggered, like promotions, transfer, basically managing learners who were captured on the system. Okay. But right now, the schools are able to put on more learners on the system. And our target is to have this concluded, really. If it can be pulled off by mid this year, well and good. But the condition we have from finance is that by end of this year, all learners from all institutions must be on EMIS, okay? And of course, we also hope that we should be able to have all the other variables which I listed captured on EMIS for teaching and non-teaching staff, school infrastructure, facilities, instruction materials, and so on. Okay, so once that one is done, then we should be able to generate good reports. And the reporting module is being handled by the developers, and we hope that by the time we finish capturing the baseline information, we should be able to generate those indicators we use to generate on pupil-teacher ratio, gross enrollment rates for the different levels, transition rate, and so on. So, colleagues, that's what I can share with you as far as the EMIS intervention is concerned. If there are any questions, you can raise them and respond to them as possible. But what I can assure you is that this system belongs to all of us, okay? Whereas we are doing the coordination here in the planning, but it should be a joint effort to ensure that we succeed. And finally, something I didn't talk about are the integrations that we are supposed to do. We still have a lot of work around that area, because the system is supposed to be integrated with, for example, NIRA. That one we have done to verify the data. We have to integrate with the Office of the Prime Minister database for people, the refugee learners who are in our system, because for them, they provide the refugee numbers that are given. So we have to integrate and verify. HCM, which I have already talked about. The integrations we have to do internally with the TMIS for the teacher registration numbers. So you can see there are quite a number of integrations. But we do hope that with time, this should be handled so that all the data we have is actually validated on the system. So that's what I can say, members. Thank you again for organizing this meeting. If there are issues, you can raise them and then we respond accordingly. Thank you. Back to you, Chair.
Thank you, Vincent. And I was worried that you must be running into another meeting, but it is good that you are on your desk and available. So the questions can come as the members collect them. But I want to move straight to Madam Mary. Madam Mary, you have been working with Vicent on building the modules for the licensing and registration. Maybe you could tell us, you could let the members know, especially those in the private schools section, you let them know how wonderful this platform is going to be and what is there to expect, but also you could also give us an insight into the roles ahead of us on this system. Mary, over to you.
Thank you, Ronald. Good afternoon, colleagues. I am privileged to be here this afternoon. And before I get into what I really want to talk about, I'd like to find out from Commissioner, from Mr. Sozi, whether we can, I don't know if this would also be called integration, but linking it with UNEB, so that when people are registered, when schools are registered, the registration shows automatically in UNEB, or the license letter shows automatically in UNEB, so that UNEB can know that this is a true copy of the school, which comes later for when they want to request for a UNEB center number, or they are registering candidates to actually see that these are schools which are operating legally. I don't know if that one has also been thought about, but what I'd like to talk about this afternoon are just a few things. And colleagues, I want to tell you that I've been part of the team that has been developing, especially concerning licensing and registration module for private schools. We as private schools, we have many schools to handle here because private has more schools, and definitely we have many learners who we would like to track as a nation. We would like to know where our learners are, except that my biggest worry now is with the primary when it comes to registration of learners. My worry is with primary. I'm not so sure whether we are moving well, but as far as licensing and registering of schools is concerned, I've been part of the team that has been developing this. On several occasions, I've met with the developers with planning to see how this will be worked out. And I should really congratulate planning for the fact that we have come. We have come really a long way from where we were. And this system, if anybody notices, it's a system that is going to bring so much on board. There's a lot that is going to be done on the system. So if we look at basic statistics, we look at the HR, we look at licensing and registration, we look at the teachers, everything is going to be handled here. So this is a big, big thing that planning has taken on. And my prayer is that we all embrace it and we all support planning to come up with this and complete with it and complete it successfully, so that we shall have fewer people visiting our offices, but the work is executed nonetheless. Because once they are not bringing to us these papers and these large files, I think we'll be better off. We will be able to work on our clients with minimum interruption, because you know when you are working on one and another one walks in, then you have to attend to the one who has walked in. And for us who are doing licensing and registration, it is really a hassle. So this system, for me, I think is going to resolve many of the issues, so that people can sit back and wait comfortably for their documents to go through the system. And I think that it will be able to streamline many of the processes that looked like they were hazy and could not be clearly understood. I think they will be better understood here, especially if we do it properly. Me and my team have been with the planning department. We are planning for a final walkthrough. It has come at a time when, unfortunately, one of the key colleagues has issues. She has a patient. The patient over is due for surgery, and she's the one to be there, things like that. So it's a bit hectic on her, and she's finding it a little hard to pinpoint a specific date. But once that is done, we'll be able to sit with the planning department, with the developers, and we should be able to complete the licensing and registration module. My prayer is that we'll be able to do this and complete it, and it is up and running by July. But even when it is up and running, planning, I pray that you stay with us and continue to support us so that we can keep on ironing out the issues as they arise. I know there will be issues that will arise, but if we are bent on making this work, then it will work, especially when we have your support. And also, I want to make sure that the developers can also agree to work with us, because I know there are things that we'll keep finding out and then keep throwing them into their way and saying, now how do we go about this? We want this to work like this. I pray that they will not just hand over and run away just like that when they say that it is probably June, because we want to work with them when we have started running this on the system. I'm excited to be here, and I want to hear from the developers, from the presentation. I'm looking forward to that presentation so that everybody can now be on board and have an idea about what this whole animal called EMIS is about and how it relates to us. And therefore, we should be able to come up and say, we need these kinds of permissions here because we want this and we want the other. In the past, we always had a report, the statistical report. I pray that this is one of the things that will come to us automatically, because this is information that we refer to all the time. It guides us in policy making. We refer to it, and when we are drafting our circulars, we refer to it a lot. It is our working document. So I pray that that one will be automatic, that we have the permissions, the necessary permissions, but the rest will find out where we might need permission to access what kind of information. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. That is all I had to say, and I hand over. Thank you very much. There you go, Ronald.
Thank you, Mary. I can say Alfred is also joining us. Alfred, you are welcome. I hope you can hear us. I'm not seeing your microphone. Zuraika, you're also welcome. I hope, I know you've been there, but we had not welcomed you. I hope you can hear us, at least your microphone is there. Thank you, Mary, for those insights. And we are still waiting for the person who's going to walk us through this animal. Alfred, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Yes, Abu, your hand is up. Abu, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair, for this wonderful meeting. I've heard about EMIS. I know about EMIS. I know about the modules. Unfortunately, the human resource module is where I have issues that I think, because the system is still under development, you can be able to iron them out. I have not seen, I don't know whether my other colleagues have been able to be part of that interaction with the developers. Because at the end of the day, I heard that, as Mr. Sozi said, that we're in charge of deployment and transfers. I don't know what is there, but I thought even before that, during the needs assessment, they should have come to us, so we also give them our view. But I am aware that HR was doing all this. We didn't put in so much into that, but maybe we'll look at what they generate and then we'll be able to add value. For me, I thought the assessment should have come before, but we would definitely have to look at it then find out exactly what we really need from that. Thank you. That has been the serious issue for my case. Then the other one is, I thought it's important that if possible, we'd have, while we're still doing the development, if possible, to have a working group, a working meeting where this is presented, where a number of other stakeholders to make some kind of input so that we get out a good system. Because we have a number of stakeholders who could help us to make inputs into this before, for some of those modules, they can make some kind of input to help us before we generate the modules or before we make them complete. So because I don't know when I can have a working group meeting, I'm thinking if I get one, I think this should be one of the things on the agenda. They make a presentation of some of these modules that we think are going to help the two departments, and then a group of individuals make contributions before we get to the end. Thank you.
Thank you, Abu. And I think Abu, even before we leave this, if you have a working group coming and somebody is giving us a chance to sit, I think we need to put EMIS as part of the agenda where possible, so that we get more members to sit in and listen. Because you can see that today, of course, we badly needed this, so that the head teachers do not break off this time when they know a lot about EMIS and we don't know much about EMIS. But we need a more direct physical engagement so that we listen in and make contributions to the module as it gets into its final stages. Members, we are now taking some comments as we, of course, wait to understand what this monster called EMIS is all about. Our presenter had requested for 30 minutes, and I think we are now there and is about to join in. So we should be able to start on that presentation. Vincent, within the two departments, we have desk focal officers who are responsible for different districts. And I'm not sure whether the roles have already been discussed onto, say, the HR module, but I know you mentioned that you've been talking to the HR department and you like to now have the two departments together. But for the licensing and registration module, maybe Mary can also add to this. What roles have you envisioned by different officers in the departments? Maybe we go for private schools now as we wait to discuss the HR module in detail and find the role. Have we been able to set some rights? Who will get rights? Who will be doing what? Have we been able to discuss that part? Over to you, Vincent. Add to that.
Before
or Mary,
Ronald, before that, the process as is only becoming an e-process. That means that there are people there who have been doing certain things who must continue to do those things. When it comes to licensing, registration, for example, when it comes to looking at all the documents now put together and the document is ready to be given a license, then it should be Elizabeth to walk through all those documents to see that they okay. Like she would have walked through the file to see that this school has all the necessary reports, the teachers' documents, information that is there that is necessary. So there are those ones which I think are obvious. But then there are those permissions that we will need. For example, when it comes to reports, what kind of reports can be generated and which ones can we access? And those are reports that we can access, I think, when we have the permission, because that is where the information lies. That there's this information, this one can access it, this one cannot access it. I think that is exactly where we need, but still let us listen in to Mr. Sozi.
Mr. Sozi, maybe as you come on, Mr. Sozi, let me put it this way also for the government secondary department. I'm responsible for Nebi region, and Nebi has all those districts. West Nile, sorry, not Nebi, sorry. West Nile, which has Nebi and the other districts. And I want to see, first of all, how many schools are there. I want to see how many teachers are in each of these schools. I want to see the head teacher. I want to know the infrastructure, things and things. As a desk officer, do you think I can have a right for my districts? Over to you, Vincent, now. Take the two together.
Okay, thank you so much. And thank you, Madam Mutende, for the issues you well articulated on licensing and registration. One, she had fears that the developers may just throw the system. That one is not right. The system, it is in everyone's interest that even after they have finalized, they should be able to provide support and maintenance of the different functionalities that are on the system. So support will be there. Secondly, of course, as planning, we are also, you may be aware, we are recruiting currently staff who will be working with the departments and local governments to ensure that these modules are actually are working properly. People are able to utilize the system. In terms of integration with the UNEB, that's an area we are also pursuing. We will ultimately integrate with the UNEB. But of course, UNEB, their data is very sensitive. And currently, when we tried them, they didn't have a developed policy on integrating their system with other systems. But it is becoming quite evident that we have to integrate with them in as far as we are concerned. So I think those are some of the areas. For example, now on EMIS number, once you apply online, your EMIS number is approved, you automatically get your notification and the e-registration kind of letter. Okay. So the same thing will happen. Your license is going to be automated, and you automatically, once your license is approved or registration, whatever, then you get your details. And if we integrate with UNEB, it will be automatic. They will know that this school X is licensed or registered with the Ministry of Education. Now, the report, the statistical reports, I know we all want reports, okay? And as I said before, the current module, as you see it, we are just capturing now initial information, okay, about learners and teachers and these other variables. But I must say the initial emphasis has been on learners, okay? But all the other data will be captured. Now, what we intend to do, we will be having what we would call the reporting module, okay? Where all these reports can be generated. Of course, we shall automate the generation of those core reports, which we have in the statistics abstract, and the members should be able to have access to these. So right now, because that module is not yet ready, what we have are just some dashboards with some few reports, aggregated reports. But I think we should be able to run some queries and provide information, critical information. For example, if it's, for example, schools, as Mr. Dun is saying, you are in charge of West Nile, okay? You should be able to have the list of schools that exist there. You should be able to know the learners in those schools. Actually, we have schools that have uploaded, partially uploaded learners. They say expected number of learners, 600. But the actual learners uploaded, they may be about 300, okay? They are big schools which just put a few learners on the system. Recently, we were interrogating the system. Sapo Kagwa schools, all of them, no data. And I raised this with the director, your director. So I think what you're raising is important. We should be able to, even if you are not going to go there and do the querying because it needs some additional technical effort, but we should be able to avail all this information, okay, regularly on the schools that have uploaded, how many learners have they uploaded, and what is the expected number, okay? People are raising a number of queries, and this is an area also where we need to interact about school ownership, okay? Remember the list of schools we used were for 2019 master list, but since then a number of schools have been grant aided, okay? So actually we have a list here. I want to send it to you, to your team, and you verify whether actually ownership of these schools have changed. So there are many areas of interaction, but once we have finalized the entire reporting module, then we should be able to carve out your access in as far as these reports are concerned. Now, for my brother, Abu, of course, we did the assessment, okay? But I can tell you, when you start working with the experts, because when we are developing the system, we work with what we call the functional experts, all right? Like for licensing and registration, it will be a lie to tell you that the planning would sit down and then carve out what the system should do as far as that area is concerned. So we look for those people, the experts in those areas, okay? Now, for example, for HR, we have initially worked with the HR department, okay? But we know that the government secondary has a big hand as far as this module is concerned. So that's why I was saying that when we resume these walkthroughs, the government secondary should be able to second a team that will be able to work with the HR and we finalize this module or the HR module. Okay. So the same thing applies to other modules. So I think that's what I can say. Mr. Dungu, if there is anything else I've left out, you can remind me.
I think before we move to Jenkins, who has joined, Abu, your hand came up a bit. Abu?
Yes, there's something else.
Jenkins, make me co-host. Jenkins, make me co-host if you remember. You can remember that. Abu, go on.
Briefly, there's something else I wanted to talk about in terms of a data capture that has delayed the entire EMIS process. The issue of TIMIS for teachers, the TIMIS number. You know, the process of getting that TIMIS number is really tiresome and requires a number of other stakeholders that, of course, are delaying the process. I remember discussing with you, Chair, that can't we have those without TIMIS? I think that identifier of trying to push them to have the TIMIS number delays us. But we can be able to capture more schools on the system, then we track back the teachers, because we can tell by looking at a single school, those that have TIMIS numbers and those that don't have the TIMIS number. Because when you make the TIMIS number one of the key identifiers, then those people will not be able to upload their system. So in my view, we can hold that for the meantime. Then we can track back, like you said, these modules are changing almost all the time. So that we are able to have almost all the schools in the system. Then we track back those missing links, because I think the issue of the TIMIS number will delay us in capturing most of these schools. I'm aware most of the teachers really do not have the TIMIS number. Hopefully that was captured and that is in the system. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Abu. I think we sent in that the commissioner wrote through director to the PS, and when I followed up, the PS had sent the request back to director, asking him to go there and they discuss about it. Hopefully that discussion will happen so that we get that waiver. And what we are talking about was phase one. Phase one, let's have a waiver of TIMIS so that we have all the teachers on the system. And then we can tell that school A, you have 4 teachers without TIMIS number. What are the issues? School B, what are the issues? The desk officers can now zero in on schools and talk to the head teachers, to talk to the teachers, to know what the issues are, so that we don't just blankly say that the teachers on payroll are not having TIMIS numbers, but we know why they are failing to get the TIMIS numbers. If they have applied and they are not being approved, then we walk the journey with them so that they get approved and we get a clean data sheet. Mr. Alfred Chaka.
Yes, please.
Please go on.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chair. My interest has been drawn by a statement made by Assistant Commissioner Statistics Monitoring and Evaluation regarding the partially uploaded learners in the specific schools. I've had an opportunity to log on some of the forums of the users, and I realized that they are actually experiencing a lot of challenges in having these learners uploaded onto the system. Fortunately, I take also this opportunity to thank the support team. They are doing a very, very good job in trying to attend to the queries raised by the users. Now, on the event, maybe before I go there, on analysis of those who have been raising complaints, I realized that 90% of those who are raising concerns were actually either private schools or primary schools. I noted the absence of government schools, which created an impression that maybe my government schools are very comfortable with the system. Not until I had to interface with one head teacher who told me they had failed to upload their learners because they need to do a lot of search, and their own assessment was that the system was already failing. I was also happy to note that Mr. Dungu, you kept encouraging many of them not to lose hope that the system was still under development. Now, on the event that the system is still under development, I still see a lot of work. Even as of now, you cannot think of generating a report. We don't know what proportion of the schools have complete data, what proportion of the schools have managed to migrate their learners from the other schools where they were, how many have been promoted. It's really a bit of a challenge, and I'm praying and requesting for a more rigorous interface between us, ourselves internally, and also the users who are now inputting the data into the system. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Assistant Commissioner Alfred. And I think you've now brought us to the right session where Jenkins, one of the from the consultants team, the developers, is here and is now going to walk us through the system. We grappled with where he can start and where he can end, but I thought give us an insight into the system. What is the head teacher doing to upload the learners at this time, or transfer, or claim, or transition? What are those words and what do they mean? Such that we get some bit of understanding, but then we plan serious workshops where we all become masters of what is happening, so that we can talk about it when we go to our regions, when we meet head teachers, or when we engage other people. So please, let's give Jenkins some time, maybe Jenkins 30 minutes, so that you walk us through. I don't know what you have planned, but try to make it quick and easy, because we may not take in a lot now, but we want to get excited to ask for more. Over to you, Jenkins. And now that you are the host, I will step out a bit and come back. Thank you, Jenkins. Members, the recording is on. We shall share it with those who are not here.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Dungu. I heard also Commissioner Vincent was online. Thank you for the earlier session. I'm sorry I'm late for the meeting. I had another engagement. However, we're going to proceed to the next phase. I greet everyone who is online who has managed to make it for this session. We're going to have a brief view of an understanding of what a head teacher can do on EMIS, what's their functionality, what they can perform, what basically they can do within their institution. So the first thing is, I don't know if they had mentioned, is that a school, as you are all aware, as head teachers, every school has an EMIS number. Now, the EMIS number is the unique identifier that identifies the school itself. It's a 6-digit code. Now, with the EMIS number, you can be able to register for a user account on the EMIS portal. So for now, let me share my screen. I'm going to share my screen here. Okay, can you all see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, now to access the EMIS portal as an institution user, for example, a head teacher, you need to go to emis.go.ug. So this is the portal that Ministry of Education uses to enable the institution heads to access the EMIS portal. Now, once you're on this portal, you can either log in once you have login credentials, or you can be able to register for a user account. Now, I'll be able to share with you a few guides that will take you through a step-by-step process for registration. But of course, this session is not go through that. And also, you can as well search for an EMIS number for a school. If, for example, you're a head teacher, or maybe you're coordinating for another head teacher, since you're going to be a TOT trainer for trainers, you'll be able to guide and help the other head teachers on a number of these functions that are on the EMIS system. Now, to search for an EMIS number, as I had showed you, once you're on your home page, you shall come here to EMIS numbers. Now, on this page, you will be able to search for an EMIS number, but by using the local government details that include the district, county, sub-county, parish, ownership, and as well as selecting the institution type. Now, under institution type, we have a number of types. We have from the pre-primary, primary, secondary, certificate, diploma, going to the degree, and the international schools. So from here, you'll be able to search for an EMIS number, and you'll be able to get the EMIS number for a given institution, and you can be able to as well register for an account. The other function that you can perform as a head teacher is when you come to register now, you can be able to apply for an EMIS number. When you have an EMIS number, it's a matter of entering in your institution type, type in your EMIS number, and proceed to the next step, which will be, which I'll share the guides as I told you, where you follow a step-by-step process. Those schools that do not have EMIS numbers can click here to apply for one, and they'll be required to enter their location details, their ownership details, the institution contacts, and the contact person details. And this process, once they are finished applying, it will go through stages, approval stages, whereby once approved, they will be able to, they will be awarded an EMIS number, and also they will be awarded EMIS user account credentials, where they will be able to access the portal. So let's dive in straight into the system itself. Before there, on this part of downloads, this is where you get the learner EMIS registration forms. These are the forms that have been circulating around the different districts, around institutions for learners to be able to capture their information once they have gone for holiday or on visitation days, so that the institution can be able to capture the information in the EMIS system. As well as you'll be able to find the user manuals uploaded in the coming months, and there will be the guides that will enable you to go through the system without any difficulty. So we're going to dive straight into logging into the system. Once I go to EMIS login, as an institution user, I'll be required to enter my email and my password. So once I have my email and password, once my account has been approved, I can be able to log in the EMIS system. Now, for demonstration purposes, this is production, this is live data, which you'll be using as an institution. For the demonstration purposes, I'm going to use a staging server that us, the technical team, use for training the users. As you can see, the URL is different. This is dev.demis.emis.co. But the one you'll be using as the institution heads, you'll be using emis.go.ug. But for training purposes, I'll use the other one, which is dev.demis. So I'll come to login. And in order to log in, I'll enter my email and password. I'm going to use, maybe if I may ask, the head teachers that are online, how many do we have that are in secondary and those that are in primary institutions? Or majority of you are in the secondary section? Can I get one person maybe to give me a response?
Mainly.
Mainly secondary?
Mainly. Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to just log in as a secondary school. I'm going to use one of the schools I have. So once I have my email and I've entered my password, I can be able to log in. At the same time, in case you have a challenge, you can use this eye to be able to view the password that you have typed. So I'll just come here to sign in. And on signing in, I'll be presented with a dashboard. Now, this is the dashboard head teachers will be viewing. On this dashboard, you have a summary of the number of learners within your institution, the number of teaching staff within your institution, the number of non-teaching staff within your institution, and you also have a number of statistical graphs, bar graphs that are showing you the numbers of both the male and female learners we have within your institution per class. as well as those with NINs and those who have been registered without NINs. Now, to another thing on the dashboard you can view is your academic year. Now, the academic year, you see how important this is when it comes to the promotions. Now, academic year enables the head teacher to view the learners that they had in a previous academic year and also in the current academic year. So currently, as you can see in this institution I'm using as a test, which is Chibuli SS, I have 28 learners. But in the previous academic year, by clicking here and going to academic year 2022, I will see that in my school, I had 401 learners, meaning I have a difference of around 330 learners that I haven't promoted or that haven't repeated. That haven't promoted or haven't reported to my school. So this is how I can be able to view my previous learners and also be able to view my current learners. Now I'm going to just go back to the current academic year and we move forward to the different functions of a head teacher. So what can this institution head or head teacher do in the system? One, they can be able to add institution details. For example, if I come to my institution, I can be able to see information about my school, including the school identification details. I can be able to also download my EMIS letter. We have had schools asking, how do we download our EMIS certificate? This is where you download your EMIS certificate. Let's click here and download and see how it looks like. It comes in form of PDF. So I'll just open my folder here in downloads. So I'll just come here. Then we can be able to see the certificates that we have downloaded. This is how our EMIS certificates looks like. And with this certificate, as you may see, there's no signature of the permanent secretary. However, we now verify using a QR code. Now this code, once scanned, it redirects you to the home page of EMIS, but showing the certificate is genuine and was issued by Ministry of Education and Sports. Now, let's move forward, the other information the institution head can update under my institution is the ownership details, including the founding body, the year the school was founded. And now for the ownership status, we have two types of ownership status. One is private and government aided. Now we'll see that the details that are being captured, especially for the teaching staff, at a later stage, we shall see that the information for government teachers is more than that of private teachers. Then we have the location details that are being captured. All this information, including the district, county, these are populated from the system unless someone is applying for an EMIS number. That is when they need to capture their location details. We have the operation details, including the UNEP center number, boarding status, if the school is a use or use polet, school level, if the school has assembly or parade, all this information is being captured. We have, on operations details, we also capture the registration status. Yes, the school is registered or licensed. They must give us their registration number or license number. If they do not have, I think it was mentioned earlier, is that in the system, we're going to have a module called license and registration that is ready, but pending adding on to the institution side, whereby you will now start applying for a license or registration certificate on the EMIS portal. We also have the health information that is being captured, the proximities, whereby we have the distance to the DO or MEO's office, the distance to the nearest secondary school, and the distance to the nearest health facility, as well as we are capturing governance information. Since it's a secondary school, we look at capturing the board of governors members who include the head teacher, the members, and as well as the secretary. The secretary is usually the head teacher. So you're looking at 12 board of governors members being captured in the system. Now, apart from my institution, all these fields I'm showing you, I'll show you where we're going to enter this data from, because this is where you preview, but the question is where do you enter the data from? I'll be able to show you all this. The other information the head teacher manages is the learner module. Now, the learner module is very key, especially when it comes to capturing these learners and being able to move them from one level to another. So under the learner module, we have the overview, where you can have a summary of all your learners according to the class and as well as according to the gender. As we can see, I have 16 female and 12 male, and here we have a summary. The other function you can see under the learner management module is your learners. Now here I can see all my learners with both their names, or if they have 3 names, including also the learner identification number. This is, as we had mentioned, a LIN. I think you've been hearing it around. It's a unique number that is assigned to a learner that is added on the EMIS system. Let's take it, for example, the way you have a NIN. When you have a NIN as an individual, it is never similar to someone else's NIN. It's always unique to you as an individual. So with the LIN, that is the way we uniquely, it's like more of an ID to uniquely identify a learner on this system. Now, we also have the sex, the class, a column showing if the learner has been registered with a NIN or not. And you can see the parent NIN. If Ugandan, by default, you must be registered with a NIN if you're Ugandan. If you are foreign, especially the foreign non-refugee, we shall require you to be registered with a passport if you're a parent. But if you're the learner and you're foreign, you're required to be registered with a student pass. Now, for these learners to acquire these student passes, they will need to visit Immigration at Ministry of Internal Affairs, and they will be given a student pass. In this column, we have the nationality. So down here, once you scroll, the institution head can be able to go to other pages and view other learners within their institution. Now, on this same page, we have filters. We can decide to filter out learners and say, for example, you just want to see senior 4 learners. And once you filter, you only see the learners within senior 4 class. Let's go back to here on view learners. Now, the other function you can see, for example, after seeing these details, in case you want to view more details about the learner, I'll come to this eye here. I can either click or I can open it in a new tab. And once I come here to view the learner's profile, I'll be able to see that this learner's details, including the date of birth, is being captured, the nationality, the district of birth, the LIN, which is automatically assigned to the learner when added, and the NIN is when you're adding a learner. For secondary schools, as we shall see, learners are going to be added with index numbers. But after adding the index number, you can also enter the NIN of this learner. Then we have the index number of the learner, the class, and also the education history. As you may see, this learner was in Chibare Community SS in Senior 4, but in Senior 5 was moved to my school, which is Chiburi SS. So this one comes in when we are using a module which we shall look at called learner transition, moving a learner from one level to another, from P7 to Senior 1, from Senior 4 to Senior 5. The other information captured of a learner is the parent and guardian details. We also have the special needs information, the health issues, the talents, and the practical skills if the learner has any. Now, once we move back, this is what we've seen on viewing learners. You can as well export your learners' data. Now, when you click export, this information, the Excel file is sent to your email of the institution. So when you click export, as you can see, you'll be notified through your email when the Excel file is ready. On this same page, as I had mentioned, the academic year, I can view the learners that I had in 2022. Over the next 5 years, if you're in 2026 and you want to view learners of 2021, you'll be able to view them by switching the academic year. So I can come here, I switch to 2022, and I'll see that my learners have now increased to 400 because of the learners I had in the previous academic year. Now, when you see this academic year module, if you move into a new academic year, the previous one is archived. So in order to make your learners active, you need to carry out a promotion, which we are going to look at. So I'll just come back to my academic year 2023. Now, the next module we have is expected enrollments. Now, under expected enrollments, whenever an institution creates an account, they'll be prompted to enter their learner summary. Now, under their learner summary, they'll be able to tell the ministry how many learners they expect in term 1, how many learners they expect in term 2, how many learners they expect in term 3. In case they're not sure of the learners in term 2 and term 3, they'll be able to identify the learners they expect in term 1 alone. So you can update that information by coming to expected enrollments, click update, and you'll be presented with a learner summary form where you will select the term you need to update and be able to enter information for both the male and female learners. And the matter of clicking submit, and that information will be updated. Let us do one with term. Okay, you can add for senior 2. And I say senior 2, I'm expecting around, let me say 150 male, 150 female. And once I click submit, I can see the total learners I have for term 1 have increased to 600 learners. So that's how you update your expected enrollment. The other module we have under the learners is promotions. Now, under learner promotions, this is when we promote our learners from senior 1 to senior 2, senior 5 to senior 6, senior 3 to senior 4, and senior 2 to senior 3. As well as we can repeat a learner who is in a given class and say this learner maybe did not perform well in this term and has been repeated. So to promote a learner, I need to make sure I'm in academic year 2023. If I'm in academic year 2022, I will not be able to proceed to promote these learners. So I'll come to academic year 2023. Then I have 2 tabs. I have the pending promotions and I have the completed promotions. Now to promote the learner, we need to go to pending promotions, select the class for this learner. For example, let's say senior 2. You may select the gender, or if in case you want filter and see all the learners, you leave this blank, then you just click apply. So I'll be presented with all my learners that were in my school last year, 2022, but now I need to promote them to move to 2023. So I'll select the learners I need, or I'll select all learners by clicking here to select all my learners in senior 2, and I'll click promote. But for demonstration purposes, I'll select 3 learners. I come, I click our promote button. Now on clicking promote, I need to select the promotion status, which is either this learner has moved to the next level, which is senior 3, or this learner has repeated and has remained in senior 2. So I'll promote this learner, then I'll select the reporting status. Okay, so we shall select the reporting status where we shall say either this learner has reported or not reported. So I'll select reported. Then the next step is to click update. So when I click update, I can see, of course, this one is a production. This is a testing server, so I can just pick other learners. Let's pick these 3. Click promote. Let's select promoted. Once I select reported and click update, okay, there's an issue on the stage on the testing server. We can maybe try with another class. Let's try with senior 3. I'll select my senior 3 learners. I want to move them to the next level, which is senior 4. So I'll select promoted, reported, update. So we have removed 3 learners from. So I moved 3 learners from senior 3 to senior 4. So to view those learners, we shall come to completed promotions, select the class, which is senior 4. And once we click apply, we shall see that our learners, for example, Rose Angole, was promoted to senior 4 from senior 3. To view details, we shall come to actions column. We click here and we can see this learner in the same school has been promoted from senior 3, and on this date, they have moved to senior 4. So that's how you promote a learner from one level, one class to another within the same institution. So let's understand that promotions module is going to be used when you're a head teacher of a school and your learner has been promoted from one class to another. Now we have those learners who are coming from P7 to senior 1, those who are moving from senior 4 to senior 5. That one, we consider those learners moving from one education level to another, from primary to secondary, from senior 4 to senior 5. Yes, it's the same secondary, but they are different levels. That is O level to all A level. So to transition, to move those learners, we use a module called transitions. Now, under the transition module, you can be able to move a learner from a previous class, for example, P1 to P7, or from senior 4 to senior 5. So how do we get a learner from P7 to senior 1? So to move a learner using the transition module, we shall come here to add new learner to our institution, and we must enter the learner's NIN, which is a national identification number, or the learner's identification number, which is a LIN. So to enter LIN here, we need that LIN, which is a 14-character code. So I'll just have to get one from one of the institutions. So allow me to log in and get one of the schools where we can move one of the learners. Okay, let me just log in here. Is everyone still on the line?
Yes, we are still on the line.
Okay. So I'm going to get a learner from primary. I need to get them from the previous academic year. So this learner sat P7 in 2022. Now they are moving to senior 1. So we need their LIN. So I need to get a LIN from here. Let's pick Desire. Okay, we can see Desire was in this school in 2022. Now we need to move her so that she can come and join my school in senior 1. So once we enter the LIN of Desire, once we click proceed, on the learner transition, the system will bring for you the names of this learner, the LIN, the index number. Now in primary level, these learners are not registered with your name index details. So admitting them in senior 1, if a learner already has a LIN, you enter the LIN and admit this learner, then you edit the index number details later. However, if this learner does not have a LIN, I will show you, we shall be able to register them as new learners within our school using the EMIS data upload module. So once we have confirmed these details, I'll click submit, and we can see that Desire is going to be added to my school, but in senior 1. So shall wait for it to add our learner. So depending on your internet connection, you either have a delay or the process will be faster. So at some point, you may need to be patient as a user and wait for it to load, that our learner is admitted to our school. Okay, we can see Desire has been added to our school. To view details, we shall click here. And Desire, we can see, has moved from in primary level. She has moved from this school and she has now come to my school in senior 1. So note that the transition module, for example, yes, yours is secondary from P7 senior 1, senior 4, senior 5. And as well as when a learner is moving from senior 6 and they're moving to year 1, maybe to a tertiary institution, or they're moving to a technical school, then as well as when a learner is moving from top class to P1. But the ones you interact with at secondary school are only learners moving from P7 to senior 1 and those moving from senior 4 to senior 5. Then the senior 6 learners will be transitioned when they go to the other institution. The institution will be the one to perform the action. Now let's proceed to the next one. So the functions we have looked at is viewing learners, updating expected enrollment, promoting learners, transitioning learners. We've looked at this. Now, the next one we have is transferring a learner. Now, I know there are very many modules, but however, with time, of course, we're going to share guides. It will be, once you understand them and how they function, you'll be able to guide the other trainers. Now, on the transferring, previously it was done manually, whereby a learner comes from one school, goes to the other, and they're admitted. Maybe they have been expelled, the parents have separated, maybe school fees is a challenge. The learner would move, and this information wouldn't be tracked. So there would be an issue of counting this learner twice. But now with EMIS, once we transfer the learner, he will move from one school to the other and will be counted once in the new institution. So let's transfer a learner to our school. So once I come to transfer, want us to transfer a senior 2 to the same class, or a senior 3. So on clicking transfer learner, I'll be asked to enter the lien. I think you now see how essential the lien is. The lien is very key, especially when it comes to these activities. So I'll come here, let's come back to second. This time let's get secondary learners, because we need to move this learner to our school. So let's get senior 2. Shall click apply. Okay. Let's pick this learner here, Ivan Okello. Let's see if he's in my school. Yes, Ivan Okello is not in my school. So I'll come here, I'll copy Ivan Okello's lien. So once I've entered his lien here, I'll click proceed. And the next step is the system will show me Ivan Okello's details, including the current class he's in, the current school, the learner name, and the lien. So the class is senior 2. The parent relation, I must give a transfer reason. Now the transfer reason, on production, these reasons are more on emis.go.ug, but here I have only 3 reasons which I use for demonstration. I can say maybe this learner has moved due to school fees. Maybe the previous school, the fees were high. Then once I've selected that, I need to select the parent relations. If it's a parent or guardian, I'll leave as parent, the nationality, leave him as Ugandan. Then I must enter the parent's name. Now I'm going to enter a NIN so that we can be able to admit this learner. So I'll get one of my NINs here. Okay. Yeah. So I'll get my parent's name. The next step is to verify. You cannot find a person with this NIN. So if NERA does not know that NIN, so it will bring that error. That's an invalid NIN. So shall put in another NIN and verify. Okay, so we have our person's details. Now we need to note that when you're adding a parent in this system, parent, learner, teaching staff, non-teaching staff, especially the parents, the teaching and non-teaching staff, you must have a NIN if you're Ugandan, and this is verified against NERA. So it will populate for you the details, including the names, the sex, and date of birth of this parent. The next step is to enter the phone number of the parent. And once I'm finished with that, I'll click transfer learner. Clicking transfer learner, I'll see that my learner has been transferred to my institution, the previous school they were in. So we can see here, our learner has been added in the same class, senior 2. So if I come here to view details, this learner has been transferred from one school to another. Now we have looked at promotions, transitions, transfers. Now we have another module for secondary called claims. We have another module called claims. Now, during registration of these learners, previously when schools were registering learners using the Excel template, they would enter wrong index number details and they would enter correct parents' details. So you would find a parent has been assigned a learner or a learner has been registered in a school that is not supposed to be in. So in the actual school of the learner, when they try registering the learner, they will get an error saying learner has already been registered, meaning this learner has been registered in another school erroneously due to upload of Excel. So currently you'll find that when you're adding a learner, when you reach a stage of adding, you have to add a learner using the web form, whereby you verify the details that you have entered before saving a learner within your institution. So now, if I'm a school and a learner has been admitted in a wrong school, how do I claim them to be able to be added to my school? I'll come to the module called learner claims. Now, under learner claims, we have incoming and outgoing. Outgoing are those ones that are moved from my school to another school when they have been claimed. Incoming are those ones moving to my school. So to add them, I'll come to submit claim. Once I've clicked submit claim, I must enter the exam year and the learner index number. So we're going to get one learner we can claim that was admitted in another school. So let's come back here. So go back, let's select, let's say senior 3. Let's wait for it to load. Refresh this. Let's select senior 3 again. Okay, we have our senior 3 learners. Now let me just come to among these last pages. Now let's pick a learner like Lawrence. No, let's pick one of these learners, Tracy Lamara. So let's say Tracy was admitted at Mount Zion SS Kitgum, but was wrongly added in that school. But she's supposed to be in my institution. So I'll get these details here. Index number, exam year is 2018. So once I'm here with as a head teacher, I'll be required to enter the exam year. We have seen it's 2018, and I'll enter my index number. The next question that is asked is, do you understand that this is not a false? I understand that this is not a false claim and that the learner belongs to my school. Meaning, as the head teacher, whatever action you perform, you must make sure that it's actually true and not false, because you'll be held accountable for all your actions. So I'll click proceed, and you can see a system will populate for me the information about this learner. Tracy Lamara, PLE, this learner is in senior 3 and the current school is this. But Tracy is supposed to be in my school, so I need to take her. So I'll come, the other info, date of birth, I'll change this. Reason is, when Tracy was being admitted, she was admitted with a wrong index number and a wrong date of birth. So it depends on if the other school has edited the details. But if it has not edited the details, you'll find if the date of birth is correct, you'll proceed straight. So I can say, for example, this date of birth was supposed to be, this learner was born September 22nd, 2005. District of birth, the district of birth of this learner was initially, Busheni. Then this gender, this is okay. She's a female. Parent relationship, I need to put now the parents' name. So I'll get a NIN here, which we shall verify against NERA. So I'll put our parents' NIN here. I'll click verify. Once I've verified the parents' NIN, the next step is to enter the parents' phone contacts. Once I'm done with that, I will click claim, and that learner will be added to my institution from the wrong institution. So we shall wait for it. Okay. So once the learner has been added to my school, I'll come to learners, come to claims. And once the process is successful, you'll be able to see your learner having been claimed and added to your institution here. So we shall come back and look at this. Now, the next one we have is search lane. You can perform a function of searching the lane. Now, we had challenges of institutions, learners approaching them and saying they do not know their lanes. For example, a learner has come in senior 5, but was registered in senior 4 in the previous school, however, does not know their lane or their location where the previous school was is far for them access, or the previous school has rejected or refused to avail the lane to the learner. So how do we know this learner has a lane? So we'll come here and be able to search for the lane of this learner so that we can be able to admit them. Or even when learners come to transfer, you can use the search lane to search for the learner's lane that they were registered with and assigned during registration. I'll come back here. Let me select a random learner like Sharon. Yeah, let's look for, maybe we can use Tony. Let's use Tony. So I'll copy Tony's lane. No, we need to find his lane. So I'll come here to the index number. As you can see, his lane is the quadruple 02. So we need to make sure our lane that will come here is quadruple 02. I'll put his index number, exam year. Exam year was set as 2018. So once I've done that, I'll click search and I can be able to see the lane of this learner. The learner is in another school, but has come to our school and wants to be admitted, either transferred or transition maybe from senior 4 to senior 5. So as a head teacher, you can be able to search for the lane of this learner. So I'll get this lane. If, for example, I want to transfer him, I'll come to transfers and I can just come to add. And once I enter the lane, I'll be able to transfer this learner to my school without the learner necessarily going to the previous school and getting the lane in case they're rejected to avail it to them. The other function under learners, after search lane, we have the bulk image upload. Now, if learners are added in the system, for example, if I open another tab of view learners, we can see that we have a number of learners without images. So in order to update these images at once without updating one by one, in case a school that has 500 learners, I'll come to the bulk image upload and I'll be able to follow these steps. I'm not going to go through this, but you'll follow these steps and you'll be able to update the photograph of the learners individually. So according to these steps, you select the class. Then step 2, you rename all the photographs of the learner. For example, if I have a photo of a learner, this photo, I must rename it with this. If the learner's name is Esther, is it Mirembe? I must rename, instead of putting Esther Mirembe on the photo on my desktop, I must rename it with this code. That's the only way the photograph will be able to update. And the last step is in the folder, you zip it. You zip the folder. Of course, these guides I'll be able to share with you the step-by-step process. And once you upload, all the photographs will be updated. Now, we have looked at the different functions you can perform with a learner. So how do we add these learners? Now, to add these learners, we shall come to EMIS data upload, come to upload data. Now, on uploading data, you'll be presented with an EMIS return. Now, an EMIS return is it follows an EMIS calendar. It's a duration of time the ministry will set for you to be able to enter information in the system. So now it comes with its own duration. Currently, as you can see, I have 35 weeks. However, if you log in as an institution now, they must be having around a week or two because the deadline is 5th of May for them to enter information. So once I come to upload data under that EMIS data upload, I'll come under the actions column and I'll click update. Now on clicking update, as the head teacher, this is where you'll be able to update the institution details we looked at earlier, including the school particulars and the school identification information. The UNEP center number, supplier number, your school was founded, if the school is Dell boarding, you click update, then you select from the drop down the different options that are present. To add the learners, it's the next tab, which is learners. So you need to note that there are two menus. Once you come to EMIS data upload, you will be given another menu. Once you are here on the blue menu, you'll be given a menu, but to view details and also perform actions when it comes to the learners. To add the learners, you need to come to EMIS data upload, come to upload data, update, and be able to come to learners. Then you'll be able to add your learners in the system. So under learner information, I can come here to update. There's a button below called update learner information. And I need to enter the class, exam year, and index number of this learner in order to save them. So I'm going to pick one as an example. Just pick one of our learners we can use for demonstration. Okay, this learner is 2020, okay. So I'll select this learner, I'll select senior 5. Now I need us to note that according to the class, it will determine which exam year. If I'm in senior 1, senior 3, I will have to enter PLE index details. If I'm in senior 5 and senior 6, I'll enter UCE index details. So I'll select the exam year as 2020, paste my index number, and I verify. So once I've verified, I'll be given the details about this learner, which include the learner's names, index number, exam year, which I wrote, and the index number, and the sex of this learner. So this one is verified against UNEB. So all the UNEB details that you enter, we verify against the examination body, UNEB, and it will be able to bring for you the details that are present at UNEB. So once I've entered the details of this learner, I'll be asked two questions. Is this learner a refugee? This is where we shall be able to add the refugee learners. Now, when you click yes, you must be able to select the nationality of this learner. If I select this learner is from South Sudan, I must enter the refugee number. If this learner is not a refugee, I'll be prompted to enter a student pass. Now, a student pass is a 9-digit code. It starts with ST, then you have 7 digits. That's how a student pass, ST, 7 digits. Let me just open my notepad. I'll be able to show you that. So this is how a student pass looks like. This is an example. It's ST, then you have 7 digits. Now, when we move to the refugee one, if a learner is a refugee, you're looking at 12 alphanumeric characters. The refugee number, it's RM. For example, I'm giving an example. It can be LG or it can be DM, but you can use RM1. Then you must put, these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. So it's a 12 alphanumeric character code. This is how a refugee number looks like. As I had mentioned, once you're adding the foreign learners, you must enter a student pass. And for the parents, if for example I'm here, I'll be asked for the passport number of our parent. This is our parent. Where is it? Here. They will ask for our parents' passport number. You must enter our parents' passport number when you have a student pass. If you have a refugee ID and the learner has a refugee number, you must enter the parents' refugee number. So we need to note that if they're Ugandan, you enter the learner's national ID if they have. If they don't, you must enter a parent's national ID. That's a must. For learners in primary, pre-primary, those ones certificate, those ones are registered without index details. Those ones you must either select if a learner has a NIN or does not have, but it's a must to enter a parent's national ID number. If a learner is a foreigner, you must enter a student pass. At the same time, student pass is here. Same time, you must enter the parent's passport number. If the learner is a refugee, you must be able to enter the parent's refugee number. There are details that are captured about this learner. Let me put him back to Ugandan. The details that are captured about this learner is this district of birth, whereby you select the district of the birth of this learner, the date of birth, when this learner was born, the parents' details. As you can see, we require one phone number, but the second phone number and the email are optional. We also capture the subject combination of this learner. Now we know that A-level learners do a combination of 3 subjects, and they must have subsidiary subjects attached. So if a learner is doing maybe biology, chemistry, and with mathematics, do we have math? Yeah, mathematics. They must also select for us their subsidiary subject. If they're doing maybe subsidiary computer sciences. The information captured, I mentioned, is special needs, practical skills, as well as health issues and the talents of the learners. So this is the information we capture when we're registering our learners. So once you add a learner here, you will be able to view them when you come to view learners. This is where you view the learners that you have added in the system. Now, the other module we have apart from learners, which we need to capture from schools, are our teaching and non-teaching staff. Now, our teaching staff, when you come to teachers, we can be able to view the teachers that have been added in the system, as well as we can be able to come here on our actions column and view the profile of our teacher, including all the information that is captured. Now, how do we add these teachers in the system? Once we're on the same page of EMIS data upload, under learners, we have our teaching staff. So on teaching staff, I'll come to update teaching staff information, and I'll be able to add my teachers' details. Now, to add Ugandan teachers, you must ensure the teacher has a name. In case it's a foreign teacher, you must ensure the teacher has a work permit that is assigned from immigration at Ministry of Internal Affairs. An example of a teacher work permit looks like this. If they are foreign non-refugee, this is how a teacher's work permit looks like. However, we have schools that have refugee teachers. Now that one is going to be added soon. It's going to be added very soon. I think in the coming months, we're going to add a tab here for those that have refugee teachers. But for the foreign one and Ugandans, currently this has been catered for. So you can be able to register them, including adding their religion, marital status, the teacher type. Now, the teacher type needs to be explained. We have those who are trained and qualified. Now, a trained teacher is a teacher who has gone through teacher training and has been awarded a certificate or has been registered to be a teacher. A qualified teacher is a teacher who has minimum academic qualifications to teach. For example, I finished senior 6 and I can go to a school and I teach. I finished university, I can go to a school and I've teach, but I've not been trained to teach. I have had self-training. That is a qualified teacher. And when you select qualified, you can see the fields that are required are less. We have the weekly teaching periods, highest education level, employment status, the subject the teacher teaches. But if I select trained and I'm in a government school, I'll be asked about if I'm on government payroll. And if yes, I must enter the IPPS number and all these other details, including the TMIS number, first appointment minute number, UTS file number, teaching qualification, teaching category. All this information is being captured when you're registering our teachers. Now, I want to go so much in detail, but you can also upload our teachers with Excel. It's a matter of downloading the template. And once our template has been downloaded and we open our template here, we shall have to enter all the same data we're entering in the web form. We enter it in the template and we can be able to upload by coming to step 2, where you click and upload our Excel file once the data has been entered. Let the template open and you see how it looks like. This is how our template looks like. And to work with it, you must enable editing. Without enabling editing and you try typing, you will get a message. Okay, you won't even be able to type, or you get a message saying this is a protected sheet. Once I enable editing, I can be able to enter information, be able to register my teaching staff. So that is for teaching staff. Then we also have the non-teaching staff. It is the same method. The non-teaching staff can also be registered on this system. So those ones include the askari, the bursar, the cooks, the secretary, the lab attendants, computer attendant, all those, the cleaners, they're registered under non-teaching staff. If they are Ugandan, same process, you must enter a NIN. If they are foreigner, you must enter a work permit to register them. If they're on government payroll, you must identify if this teacher is on government payroll. Now, at the same time, and as the head teacher, the other information you must capture is the infrastructure details. I'm not going to go in details into this, including the classrooms, the kitchens, the hostel rooms, let's first go through the latrine instances, library, administration block, sick bays. You must be able to enter this information. So you come to add classes, enter the infrastructure type, enter the completion status, be able to enter the area of the room, and you'll be able to tell us how many rooms there are there. Then you must also be able to tell us the other facilities. For example, if an introductory fence is present, temporary fence, you must be able to also identify for us the water and sanitation. What sources of water do you use for drinking and for other purposes? And if either you're using either of these, which facility is present. You must also identify for the ministry as well the sources of energy. What energy source do you use for cooking? What main energy source do you use for lighting? The ICT equipment, for example, which internet source do you have? Are you using cellular, wireless, or cable? You must either tell us if it's active or inactive, and must tell us how many are functional, non-functional, and those with internet access for both the learners and the teachers. As well as also capturing the instructional materials, which include the textbooks, the reference books, lab equipment. We also have the health and meals details. The PE and sports, where we're capturing the sports equipment, sports facilities. You need to tell us the number of footballs you have, the number of basketballs, tennis balls, as well as the participation in extracurricular activities. We also have the practical skills, where you tell us which skill is present. For example, if MDD is present, you click update and say the school offers MDD and you save. We also have the governance. This is what we have talked about on updating our board of governance members. This is where you update it from. We have the GPS location, as well as we have finance. This is where we're capturing the finance information, including the incomes, the budgets, and expenses. So all these fields we have looked at of other facilities, infrastructure, you can be able to view them from here. Infrastructure is here. You can be able to view the instructional materials, the facilities, the PE and sports, the practical skills you have selected, the finance information that you have selected. In case the ministry releases any publication, you'll be able to view it under the publications module. In case of any notices, you'll be able to view them under EMIS notices. And in case of adding any other user you would like to access your institution, as I had noted earlier, is when you're registering for a user account, you must have an EMIS number. Now, during the process of registration of a user account, you must be able to give us your institution email and your head teacher's email. Now, for example, the institution email is Chibuli SS. The head teacher is Robert Ogarura, but you must register him with a name if he's Ugandan. Now, in case I need to add another person to help me enter data in my school, I'll use the user manager module and I'll come to add contact person, and I can be able to add their details and I'll get login credentials to access the system. Now, in case of any challenges at that institution, there's a module called EMIS support. Now, EMIS support is where you'll be able to create a ticket, stroke query, stroke an issue you're facing within the system and you need assistance. If you face an error, where do you run to? This is where you log it to. If you face an issue with in regards to maybe you're failing to upload or maybe you're failing to find a given feature or a blank screen, you can either use the WhatsApp groups or you can create a ticket here and it will be resolved. So basically, that is all about EMIS, the functions you perform: learner management, teaching and non-teaching staff, infrastructure and facilities, finance, PE, that's physical education and sports. And those are the functions you perform within EMIS. Now, I will hand over back to Mr. Dungu. I don't know if he's online. I know I've taken an hour, but of course the system is not that small to just go through in 30 minutes. But I hope those who have been online have at least learned a thing or two and shall be able to share some guides on WhatsApp, which I've shared already with Mr. Dungu, that we're going to share around to guide you on the step-by-step process that I've been explaining. And at a later stage in the coming months, you will have a full user manual that is taking through all the different modules of the system. So that will also be a wider and more detailed guide on the step-by-step process that you can use. So I would like to thank you and submit my presentation.
Thank you, Jenkins. I had asked Mary to do the sharing because I was moving into a difficult place. But members, we've been able to listen in. The beauty is that we have recorded the video and we will be able to present it to everyone to look back and listen in. But Mary, if you can help, if there are any questions for now, we could take a few because we are already out of our time. Mary, over to you.
Thank you, Ronald. What did you say? You need a question from me? What do you need from me?
Mary, I'm just asking you to share a bit.
Oh, okay. Colleagues, you've just heard from the developers. They've given us, I could call it a snippet. And what they've given us shows that this is a detailed system. It has so much on it. If we are going to guide our colleagues out there in the field, we need to tell them that there are so many areas. And what I can say for now is that our colleagues out there have always had this about them, that when it comes to using technology, they get a provider from outside, and then that person helps them here, they pay for it and they go, they don't know what the login details are, they cannot access the system, they don't know how to use the system. But from what Jenkins has just shared, it is very clear that every school must have somebody there to do this. This is something we need to stress to the schools, that they will need somebody, somebody must understand, and that person should be able to train another one. And this system is such that it has somebody has to be there all the time to do updates. When people have been promoted, there will be updates to be done. When the teachers are being transferred, there will be updates. So colleagues, here we are now. Whoever has something to say, a question, the floor is now open. Hey, somebody's hand is up. That is Abu.
Yes. Yes, Mary. Thank you so much. For me, that's been a very good presentation. But however, I think for me, I can learn better if I'm given a chance to interact with the system. Like I said earlier, I think we need some kind of environment where we can interact with this, and then we can be in position to explain to whoever else we find if we get a chance to interact with the system. So for me, there's so many other questions that are posed, but I love posing those questions if I'm interacting with the system, rather than simply seeing what is happening. So I beg that we organize another one whereby all the members learn to click. For when people ask you questions, you have tested it out, you know exactly what it is. But the quick information given to us is welcome, and I mean we can use it now confidently to say at least we have something about EMIS that we can deliver to the masses. But however, I think the best can be when we interact with the system. The way he was discussing, if we also interacting with the system, that would be of some kind of help when you're explaining to the rest. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Abu. I do agree with that. There's just no way in which you can be perfect at these things unless you've had the opportunity to interact with them, so that when the person is explaining, you are there also doing things on the system to understand it better. But this was very important and critical to whet our appetite. I heard Ronald talk about that when we were beginning, that we needed to get into this kind of engagement so that it can open our eyes and then make us want to get something more. So I think this one has played its role. Anybody else?
Mary, we might be running out of time now. And the members, they want to pick a taxi back home. That is what we can say. I think we've had a good interaction. What we will do is to put the video recording on the platform for us, because this is something you can even listen into before you go to meet the next head teacher or before you go to the field, because the people in the field would love to hear our voice on EMIS. We have generally agreed that EMIS is here with us, and it is us to make it work. So the quicker we learn what is there, the better. So what we are going to do, probably Abu and others, Mary, we need to think quickly. I don't think we will find a budget for our workshop. We need to look for who gives us a budget, so that we have a workshop where we sit on a computer, we sit for 2 days on a computer, and we are thinking one thing, EMIS. That is something we need to quickly discuss. So what I would do is to also come around. Of course, we will go back to Vicent to see, Vicent, is there something that can happen, or where do we go? The education partners, the working group, is there someone who can dig deep and enable us? Because first of all these partners, when they are working, they need data, but they cannot have the data when we are not active. But if we are active, then they can get the data. Maybe we can combine with the primary side still, because they have more partners. And if we find that solution that will bring data onto one page and it can be accessed by those in whichever project they are, then their project will be more successful. So we need to think quickly, but also for now, let us use the means that are available to equip ourselves, each one of us to tell the other what to do. We can also switch on the computer as we listen to the video and try this and the other, so that things can work out. The thing we will ask maybe Jenkins is there a way we can have dummy accounts to explore how the head teacher sees the system, like you've been showing us. The teacher goes here, he does this to enroll a learner.
Hello, yes, Mr. Dongo, I've heard you. Yes, it is
Where
very
we
possible.
can have dummy accounts to work as a
yes.
chat, you know, so that we see transition, do this, whatever, do that. Then you.
Yes, it is very possible. Just have to give me your emails that I can use to create for you on the other side of dev.demis. Then you'll be able to have access to the system on the staging environment, which is more of a training environment. And as the previous speaker, I think the first speaker who spoke, I think it's Abu, in regards to having hands-on. Yeah, hands-on training is better than actually verbally interacting with the system when someone shows you without practicing. And this with practice, you easily guide these different users. So you can just avail to me your emails. then I can be able to create you on the training site so that when you go to production and use your email at a later stage to your real institution, you won't be locked out.
Okay, we shall talk about that because I think I have emails for everyone in the 2 departments. I will look for them, compile them, so that you create those accounts. Friends, Assistant Commissioner George Moktekanga, you've been quiet. We want to hear you as you close this meeting. George, are you there?
Yes, Ronald.
George, we want you to close this meeting with a word from you. We would like you to say a word and then close this meeting.
Yes, please. First of all, I want to thank you for organizing this very important meeting. I want to thank the presentation made by the Assistant Commissioner, Vincent Sozi and the team. But I had also a comment. I don't know that we have captured the issues of school feeding in the EMIS, because when we were developing the school feeding policy, there was that concern that we need to capture the data on how many children who are eating at school and the things to do with school feeding. So if they are not there, kindly can we advise on how it should be done in the future? Otherwise, it is a minimum requirement now to know whether if children are eating at school or not. With those few remarks, I want to close this meeting. I want to thank everybody that has been on Alfred, Haji Bie and team, my colleagues from the Private Schools and Institutions Department, and I want to wish you all a blessed day. Have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you, George. Thank you, everyone. And let us continue discussing online. Maybe I just forgot to tell you that tomorrow, the head teachers of both private and government schools are in their districts talking about EMIS in their own places. I hope they will have good discussions and we'll get feedback from them on what they want to do to support each other in making sure that EMIS works. I'll be sharing on the WhatsApp group the letter from PS inviting them to do that. And also when we get some reports from their participation, we will share those. Let's keep working on WhatsApp and in the corridors when we meet. Until we meet, we wish you the best this evening and please look out for the video. Mary, your microphone is open.
I just wanted to say goodbye. I'll open so that I can say goodbye.
Okay, Mary. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Harriet. Thank you, Suzanne. Thank you, Derek. All Abu, everyone, Mary, and all those who have dropped. Bye-bye. I'll close this meeting now.
Okay, bye-bye.